That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.
That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
Hello, my name is Cedric, and along with my beautiful wife, Connie, we'll be hosting my brand new podcast, That's What I Said. I'm a retired Navy veteran that suffers from PTSD and anxiety, and we'll discuss how I cope with the mental illness through comedy and discussion. It's a podcast that will talk about everything from cryptocurrency to comedy. If we're worrying about the dollar going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's still a dollar, guess what? The value of that means absolutely nothing. Cryptocurrency in itself is the future of money. From spirituality to cannabis. To have cannabis on the Schedule 1 list is bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. It makes absolutely no sense. If it's a seed that can be planted and it has healing properties in it, why the hell is it in Schedule 1? Last time I checked, cocaine don't have healing property in it. From interracial relationships, I don't have a problem with people talking about interracial relationships. People try to talk bad about my interracial relationship just to think that they can get under my skin. I mean, really, it don't bother me. I mean, let's not make, call a spade a spade. But if you have a problem with someone that's in love, it shouldn't matter the race of the person. It's a mental illness in our community. The problem is people want to put labels on it. Everybody wants to put color on everything. And as soon as you put color on it, it gets treated differently. The money gets treated funny. Because if it's dealing with Asians, guess what? It's going to take a longer process unless those leaders step up and get into the president's face or U.S. leaders' face and say, this is a problem in our community. Not leaving one topic unturned. If you want to hear real, authentic conversation, interviews, and comedy, please take time to listen to That's What I Said, because I said what I said.
Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. Listen to That's What I Said. Available on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome to another episode of That's What I Said with your host, Cedric Sanders. Giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. The broadcast starts now.
I'm seriously thinking about redoing this. It's dramatic in the beginning. And then it's like, who the fuck? like seriously, this is like, huh?
It was like, hey.
Yeah, this is like some old, like back in the early 90s type music. Until you hear the bass line. Anyway.
What's good?
What's good, y'all? It's Friday. Y'all know what it is. That's what I said. The podcast brought back to you. Even I did one last night. I'm bringing it again tonight. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me, but I mean, I do, but like I said, it was a conversation I wanted to have, and I knew it was going to be 2 parts. I knew I couldn't do it in one podcast, so I'm doing it in 2. So, peace of love to y'all. What's good? What you doing over there? Why you quiet?
My bad. I was finishing typing, thanking everybody for joining us for part 2 of this podcast, because I know today you really are about to go heavy.
I am, but again, we have to bring that elephant in the room again.
Hey, you know.
Not that I really want to start early with this, but you know, I kind of have to announce it sometimes. I have to announce it sometimes to let people know this is the direction I'm going. Mm-hmm. But on a serious note, I feel like, sorry, y'all, I'm moving my mic. And I ain't even on video. See, it just shows you how excited I am about this about this podcast tonight.
I was just about to ask you. I was like,
so
what happened?
I never transitioned. So it's chilly out here in on the East Coast. But I want to get in. I didn't get into it on Thursday because of the topic. And for those that didn't catch last night's podcast, I'm talking about wealth does not come and knock on the door. It just doesn't. Never has, never will. Publishers Clearinghouse, to me, that's not wealth. That's just problems.
Solicitation.
Well, yeah, buy a whole bunch of magazines and we might pick your ass.
Might being the key word.
Yeah, might. So there's been like a lot of conversation concerning, not that I want to talk about this, but I do in a sense, because I don't talk about gossip or that bull crap. But Kanye West.
I saw the headline earlier and I was like, yo.
So Kanye has, I guess, for lack of better words, pissed a lot of people off. And I normally don't do this, but because I'm who I am, and it's, in my opinion, worth the conversation. Well, I can't find it right now, so I'm going to have to figure it out some other time. But Kanye has done some really weird stuff, and said some really like off the wall stuff, and then brought celebrities into his banter about all kinds of stuff. He has allowed a lot of black celebrities to be not just worried about him, but really just in a sense, like, what the hell are you doing? He went and absolutely just went dino dumbass in a matter of like 72 hours. What is this talking about? Oh wow, wants to make his own mini city. Yeah, he's on some other shit. But anyway, Balenciaga has I guess, put ends to their partnership. Adidas has put his money-making shoe, Yeezys, up for review. And the list goes on. I mean, he went to Paris Fashion Week with a White Lies shirt on. He has basically the only suggested threat that he has come out with since all of this chaos has went down. And for those that don't know, that don't pay attention, Kanye West went on Drink Champs and just had this complete and utter blow up that was completely anti-Semitic, talking about Jews, talking about the black community, chastising certain individuals by name, and oh, by the way, people that have, like, you know, supported him and everything else, just try to drag them, or not even really drag them, but kind of bring their name up in conversation of the said rant. Ice Cube being one of them.
Wasn't Drake?
I mean, and the list goes on. So
Yeah.
he has put himself in this very, very weird situation because it has put him back in the light of, we think he crazy.
Yeah.
And the sad part is now people are actually listening. Whereas before, like I don't think, and I can't even say this as I don't think, he has completely went apeshit since the divorce.
Yeah.
And then the whole Pete Davidson situation. It's just weird. And he's worth $1 billion.
Right.
Bruh. Why?
Right, exactly. It's like you're making a public spectacle out of your own self when you don't need to. You don't need to.
I'm gonna be real. You're making yourself look unappreciative when I know he is, but now he's making himself feel like he's unappreciative in the position that he's in, but he's not going to change the person that he is because of money.
Yeah.
I get it. What I don't get, how are you this successful and nobody said anything about his actions or said anything about how he acts? Like, literally.
Yeah.
This can't be like the first time he's like
Went off the rails.
Yeah, went off the rails and fucking elevator stopped in the basement, and every time he got in that bitch, he was pressing 3 and it wouldn't move.
Yeah.
Something ain't stirring the Kool-Aid. Like,
Right.
everybody wants to talk about
all signals aren't firing.
Well, it's not even just that. I think people are in so many ways starting to listen to Cat Williams more, listening to a lot of other outspoken people that have really not just spoken about the industry, but how some certain people in the industry, not to just have any kind of issues with.
Yeah.
Or for that matter, even try to be close to that person because of how much influence they have. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily to, put you in a bad situation where they're positioning you for failure. Okay. But someone that has so much clout in the industry could really end your career and you not even understanding what happened or how it happened. You just know shit ain't going well for you.
Right.
And you're like thousands upon thousands of people, influencers and things of that nature that are trying to get that notoriety so that they can, you know, get monetized and live better and things of that nature because they have a talent. He's getting all that shit scrutinized right now.
Everything is getting scrutinized.
Because if you really think about it, like I said, I didn't want to talk about this because I knew how I was going to talk about it. If you really think about it, he has made going through a divorce
ugly as hell.
like nobody is going to want to go through that shit.
Well, I mean, it's going to make a lot of people think, okay, do I really want to get married? And then if you are married and, you know, maybe you are having, you know, some issues in your marriage or whatever, or you've gotten to the point where either you've mutually agreed to walk away from each other or, you know, whatever, it's, do you want to be on that stage like that?
It's not that. That's not it. That's not it at all. This is what happens when you become successful. Come out with a shoe line, music, producer, artist, rapper, whatever. You're very talented at that for that point just in itself. But how do you put yourself in a position where now you're being put in a character reference of someone that has mental illness because of how you express yourself and how you see life? Like, is this the Kanye West that everybody has known for as long as they've known him? Or has something happened in his life that has made him be the person he is right now? That's what I want to know. Because if this shit was going on earlier,
It was probably when his mom passed.
well, even with that being said,
I think that was the trigger.
okay, but even with that being said, and how successful he is,
Right.
where's his friends at? Or is he that much of a
A-hole.
asshole to the point where he doesn't have any friends?
He just has associates.
Yeah, he just has people that he associates with, just, you know, because of their position or whatever like that, but they're not close.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, to be that successful, a billionaire in the music industry, and you ain't got no friends that's talking to you and checking up on you and making sure you okay. You got that much money to where you don't need friends because you're a billionaire. And what
Your mindset. You got to
I'm done with the people that's not making the money that I'm making.
Yeah.
So now these people that you were friends with, you don't have them as friends now because you're a billionaire. Is that what it is?
That's what happens, though.
I don't think I don't know because I'm not a millionaire or a billionaire. So I can't say that I would know if that happens. But I'm just, as I think, the way I think, those money-making conversations is very limited when you're a black billionaire and it's only one other black billionaire on that list and you really don't fuck with that dude.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for him, your ass wouldn't be on.
True.
Like,
I think that's what happens, though, is that once you reach different levels of wealth or success, you forget about the little people.
No, that's not it. That's to me, that's an excuse. Just because you...
I understand what you're saying. I'm sorry to cut you off. I really do understand what you're saying. But I do believe that once you attain a certain level of wealth, you do tend to surround yourself with those people that are making the same amount or better.
I get that.
You surround yourself with that, and you kind of lose.
No, you don't kind of lose. That's an asshole move. They weren't your friends to begin with. If you're sitting here trying to tell me that you get rich, you become wealthy, and all the friends that you have now, because they're within the same class, if not just a little bit higher than you were, you all of a sudden start making 4 times what you're making, which is probably 4 times what they're making. Now you mean that you can't be friends with them because you can't have money conversations with them? That's your only friends? Because you can't have these money conversations with them?
I'm not saying that you do tend to.
No, you don't.
lose.
How would you know that? You can't say that. You can't say. I mean, you can say what you want to say, but I'm a, you know me. I'm king correct with the thought process. You can't say that people tend to do this when you've never been in that tax bracket, right or wrong. Can you say that?
No, I can't.
Okay, so that right there, what you're saying is an assumption or an opinion based on what?
Based on recent readings.
Readings from somebody else's opinion.
Yes.
You can't get your facts off of somebody else's opinion.
Right. I haven't been in that tax bracket.
So you can't quote what somebody else wrote because now it's not your thought.
I digress.
I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm just saying. You can't say what you just said and think you're going to get away. What did I do in the military? Are you serious?
I said I digress. Let's move on.
No, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I am in a way saying you're wrong, but at the same time, what I'm trying to say is,
you are.
What I'm trying to say is in the conversation that we're having, you can't lean on the side of a millionaire when you have, one, never been in that tax bracket, which means you don't even have friends that are probably in that tax bracket. And even if you did have friends that were in that tax bracket, you just contradicted yourself. So what I'm trying to say is, in a more direct fashion.
But I didn't see it in that way.
Okay, but you said
how I said it came across
as you know those people, and you don't. Mm-hmm. And even if you did, you just contradicted yourself, because you can't say that because of your tax bracket being higher. Of course, you're going to have friends that are millionaires and probably a lot more associates and a lot more communication with people that are in your tax bracket. But you're not going to befriend people that you've been friends with for however long you've been friends with them, all because now you have more money. It doesn't work that way. You may have more time and more money, but that doesn't mean that you're going to have less friends. It's not going to be because of you. I put it like that. It's not going to be because of you. A lot of times when people attain a lot more money and they live better, those friends befriend you before you befriend them. That's the reason why I was going to correct you. And the reason why I know this is because it happened to me. Based on experience. And it's happened to a lot of people, especially in the military. And everybody's like, oh, it's because of the rank structure and blah, blah, blah. And, police officers the same way. And no, stop. There's a brotherhood, sisterhood in the military. It doesn't matter what your damn rank is.
Right.
But when you start making more money and your position changes, the people that you are around that have the most common issues and common situations and things of that nature, they're going to discuss that with their people that are within that same, pay structure that they see all the time.
Yeah. That
they're close to, that they can relate to. They're not going to talk to the people that's got less time in or, might be the same age as me or close to it, but you still got less time in. So that's not a conversation you would understand. you're a person. You go to bed like I do. You know, put your pants on just the same right leg, right leg. You take showers and baths. You perform personal hygiene, I'm sure, at some point. You know, ain't no different than you and I. The only difference is the money you make. And they structure it and put it in such a bad situation. And I'm glad I'm bringing this up because now we can talk about the conversation. But when you get into that pay structure, it's a mental thing at that point. Because when you have money and you're not worried about when you get paid next, it's a surprise to you. You're like, oh shit, I got paid. Damn. Okay. That's a different feeling than somebody sitting here like, damn, I can't wait till I get paid on Friday.
To be broke Friday night.
I mean, some people, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a different feeling. Mm-hmm. At some point, you're going to get tired of hearing people, I can't wait till I get paid on Friday because I'm over here hurting.
Right.
Usually when people do that, they lean into the I need to borrow some money questions, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, bro.
Hey, man, it's Monday. Woo, shit. We'll get paid until Friday. God damn.
You got $20?
No, they don't go in. No, there's a whole bunch of other I want to feel sorry for you shit.
Still,
I gotta go to the damn grocery store and shit, and then old girl talking about she gotta go to the doctor on Tuesday when I get off, so I gotta run and pick her up and then go all the way back down. Man, hope I got enough gas, man. Friday need to hurry up and get here, and then everybody start laughing like, yeah, man, I feel you, man. You give me $20 so I can put some gas in the car. But now it ain't $20. The way gas prices is that funky ass 40.
And sometimes more.
Sometimes more. But that funky ass 40 is going to be the going rate right now.
Yeah.
Because that funky $40 that everybody be sitting there talking about, that's gas money right now. Mm-hmm. That's when you talking about, you know, when your homeboy need to ride somewhere and she'd be like, hey, let me get that $40 for gas. It ain't no 20. It ain't no funky, you know. No, it's a funky $40 right now. It ain't no 20. When somebody give you gas, they give you like 10 or 20.
Yeah.
Back in the day, used to give you 5. Here's 5 for gas. That shit used to had a half a tank in the car.
Heck yeah.
Back in the day. Mm-hmm. I mean, back in the 1900s, the late 1900s.
I'm done.
And well, buddy said the old late 1900s.
Yeah.
It was the old late 1900s. That was back when gas was just like literally, like Cat Williams said, you can go in that bitch for $20, set the clicker, go through your car for a minute, you know, check your CDs and shit, and then you run inside, grab you a little something to drink or whatever, some snacks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, enough. If you had back then, you had enough money. If you went to the gas station out in town, they had the lotto. You get you a couple dollar lottery tickets. You still sitting out there, yeah, still filling up, whatever. Scratching out lottery tickets. You see some people from the base out there. Hey, y'all going to the club? I bet, yeah, I just put gas in the car right now. Yeah, I gotta go change, you know, go get freshened up, you know. I just came back from the mall, got my gear in the car, be ready to go. All I gotta do is go to the house, take a shot. Get your ass right back in that car, turn your music all the way up, and drive.
I'm so done.
But that's how it was back then. You had cheap gas, didn't have to worry about nothing, didn't necessarily have to worry about taxes or the cost of stuff and how expensive it was, and didn't really have to worry about that because it was like gas was like $1 and some change, like $1.20, $1.30, $1.40, something like that. That wasn't nothing.
Right.
Shit, $20, that's filling up car right there. Maybe 30, depending on what kind of car you got.
Yeah, I was just finna say, depending upon the gas guzzler you had.
It wasn't nothing to budget out $100 every time I got paid. it wasn't nothing for me to just take that $100 and I put it in my nightstand. And when I got home and I looked at the gas needle and it was at a quarter tank, I put $20 in the wallet. So I wouldn't forget. It's like I had a routine. But it was like I self-budgeted that. No matter, like, I paid myself. And I would always, take that $100 out and put it in my nightstand. And sometimes I wouldn't even spend that whole $100.
You had
get
beer
paid
money.
huh?
I said, didn't you had beer money?
Well, no, it wasn't. No, I never did that. That was strictly gas. That was strictly gas. But what I ended up doing, though, it just got to a point where I would go a month or whatever, and half the time I would just open the drawer, feel around, grab the 20, not even look in the drawer. I remember this one time I had went and it kind of dawned on me because it was still kind of daylight, and I opened the drawer and grabbed the 20 and I actually looked in there. I was like, damn. I was like, yo, I had like $600 in there.
Shoot, that was car note, insurance, gas money.
Oh, that paid the bill. No shit, that paid the bill. Don't get it twisted. That paid the bill. But it kind of got me out of that spending thing. Because when I started doing that, I did that when I made chief. I had already been in the Navy 15 years.
Right.
So, like, even like when I was on the boat, I never kept money in my rack. I kept it at work. And I had a box that had a lock on it. You had an ATM on the boat. So I think I had $300 coming to the boat a month. And that's too much. Because I really didn't need $300 on the boat. You're on the boat.
You just wanted $300.
No, actually, to be honest with you, I just wanted to make sure I had enough money. So, like, when we hit port.
Oh, you had spending cash.
Well, not just that. I didn't have to go use my ATM card. So I didn't get those foreign international fees and all this. I didn't have to do all that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we pulled into a port every month, at least. Mind you, I was having this 300 come to the boat before deployment, like maybe 2 months before, 3 months before I started the allotment for it.
It was already set up.
We pull into the first port. I already got like $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 in there. Because you see,
hey fellas, we going out drinking. It's on Sanders today.
Let's let me play. No. You don't tell people how much money you got. That ain't no. Let me do a little intro because we're gonna talk Old Navy Day for a second. Where that? No, we ain't gonna do that one.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
So, Navy talk. So when you go on deployment on a ship, of course you know the day you leaving. But months in advance, you're still prepping. You know, you do update your will. You're doing all this updating to emergency contacts and just all kinds of stuff. You know, you're trying to make sure your car's going to be taken care of. You're doing all this stuff, but a lot of people wait till the last minute to set that allotment up. I worked in admin. I want my allotment to start as like we go on deployment in November. I want my allotment to start in September. They're like, oh, okay. So I got 2 months before the deployment. And then we probably won't hit our first port until probably the 1st of December. Okay. You're underway for about a month before you hit your first port. all right, that's 3 months of money that I'm gonna have.
Yeah.
So rather I did $250, $300, $400. I think to be honest with you, I think it was like $300. Mm-hmm. I mean, you not gonna need no $600, $700, $800 when you go into a port unless you buying some shit. And then you got to put it in the sea bag locker, and it's got to sit there for 6 months before you get back home. So it's like you got to plan what you're going to buy out. If you're going to buy a suit, okay, you need to buy 2 plastic bags.
Yeah.
Close it up tight. Put it in the sea bag locker. You be straight. I got to the point where I just folded my shit up. Either folded my shit up, I had stand-up locker. I put it in my stand-up locker. If I bought suits or shoes or anything else like that, I make it fit. Like I was taking stuff out of my rack space that we had, you could fold I put all my work clothes and stuff folded up there nice and neat and shit. And then I just ironed them anyway. Instead of ironing the shirt and the pants, trying to put them in my locker. Cause you got to have a full sea bag. You got to have all your dress uniforms and all that shit. Where they going to go?
Right. Right.
And I'm not trying to fold my shit up there, iron it or whatever. I want to be ready to go. Inspection ready. That's how I was. Bruh, my underwear and t-shirts, everybody was like, why you don't put them in your rack? Like, for what? I know what I'm buying, and I'm not trying to come down here when I get off work to remove all this shit, to organize it so that I can. And I brought tuna fish, stuff that I can eat. I usually brought like 2 months worth. I got to put that somewhere. I got to have my own personal stuff. You're on a 6-month deployment. You got to have your own personal stuff, including shower stuff. So it's like you got to have all this when you go on deployment. All of this. I went on my first deployment unprepared. They had ATM. They had the old school ATMs, but I didn't know. It's like, yeah, ATM on the boat. And it's like, yeah, you just set up an allotment, put it on there. I was like, oh, okay. I just used my debit card. So I did that first swipe in Hong Kong, and it was the $100 plus the ATM fee plus the international fee. I was like, it took me $10 just to pull out $100? Nah, bro. No. Mm-hmm. I did that one time. And the next day I went, and because they had Navy Federal window at the post office in Hong Kong, little small window. And they did your application and opened your account. And I sat in that line and opened me a Navy Federal account. During my first appointment was like 1997, 1996, something like 1996. No, it was 96. Anyway, and literally transferred my money from my bank to the Navy Federal account. And it was like, oh, if you have a, ATM with your other bank, you might want to keep it, especially if you go into another port. I was like, no, because I'll just withdraw money before I leave this port, convert it over. So when we hit the next port, I have cash just in case that ATM card ain't there. Because when you're deployed, my first deployment, we didn't get mail every day. We got mail probably once every, I think on an average, every 4, maybe 3-4 days. Sometimes it took a week. We didn't get no mail.
Wow.
Because we were traveling and we had to go to the next port. And if we weren't close enough to land, we weren't going to get the helo. And that's how it worked. You have to be close to land, at least within 25 nautical miles for that helo to come out to you. And then if we did refueling, that's how we got most of our supplies and stuff, mail sometimes, and food, we got to stock up.
Yeah.
So we right there just fueling up, taking on stores. That's a long ass unwrap. Let me tell you, that shit's like 2.5, maybe 3 hours. Well, I think it's about 2 hours because you're fueling, and then they're transferring stores over. And the way they do that is on a pallet, and the helo has to get it from the tanker and helo it across to our boat, unhook it. We pallet jack it inside the hangar, have a working party, and they breaking that shit down before the next pallet comes. Like that, let's go, let's get it. Strike it down. Blah, blah, blah. It's going straight to the galley.
Wow.
Whatever stores we ordered and shit, they have it on there, on the boat, on that tanker, and it's there. But it's crazy because like when you go on deployment, you know, it's just certain things that you have to do to make sure you have enough. You spend money.
Yeah.
So anyway,
especially when you're purchasing souvenirs and that kind of stuff and bringing home things to your family.
Well, yeah, you want to make sure you have money. And back then, like I said, you just didn't have a lot of that. You didn't have the money for it. I mean, back then you had checks, but you ain't writing no check in Hong Kong or Singapore. You know, you want to have cash.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know, it was a challenge. But anyway, part 2. Wealth does not come and knock on the door. Just doesn't. So tonight I want to kind of get into a conversation that I think we should be having, not just in our communities, but I think we should be having with our families and everything else. We live in a society, I think, where people don't. Well, let me say this. We live in a society where people are quick to find the lie in something than to understand how to get wealth or how to get a degree or a great job or whatever the case may be. There's very select people that would just strive to get these things because that's what they want to do. That's what they strive to do. Where others they don't have that motivation. They just do the basic whatever, but complain about not being wealthy. It's like you decided to just shit, not even get out the pot. You just sit there and shit. Just like you gonna get up. But I think I've learned, like I said, last night, it took me a while to understand it. But when I understood it, it became easier for me to want to learn more.
Yeah.
Because now I learned something new and it's like, that's not all I want to know. I want to know it all. So if you can't do that with a job, you can't do that in life. And if you're doing it in life, that means you should be doing it in your job. I mean, the reality is that you really shouldn't be working for somebody else. You should be working for yourself, have your own business or have your own, passive income that makes money, regardless if that's a home-based business or however you want to look at it. You should have some type of passive income that is your money's making money. Like I said last night, your money is making babies. The mama money should be on Maury. Taking the daddy money to get that DNA test to see if he's the daddy. And this is his like 9th time on there. And he is undefeated. You are the father every goddamn time. He ain't won one game. He is winless. Because money will multiply if it's compatible with your situation of understanding how not to spend it. It's okay to spend it. But if you allow your money to be put in positions where it can multiply, Oh, it's going to multiply for you. Especially if you put it in vehicles so that it can multiply. And see, we don't do that in life. We're too busy trying to delete shit. And divide. Yeah, everything is a mathematical equation, because if you can multiply your money, it equals success. Not at the job, but it equals success in your life, because now you're making a succession that is ending a generational curse, or is a continuance of a family history of financially successful people, and you're just continuing that DNA structure, however, your family was brought up. You're just continuing that legacy because it was brought down to you. You were born in wealth, and you decided you wanted to do your own thing and be wealthy in your own thing and not do what everybody else did. And now you're successful in that thing. And now your kids want to do what you did, but the other kid wants to do what the family did. And guess what? Y'all both are rich, because now you're multiplying not just what was passed down to you by your family. You didn't create your own generational wealth for your family. And now your family owns not just the legacy that was there, but you created another legacy that's going to multiply the original legacy. But see, we don't think that way. We just think that, well, my family ain't has shit, I ain't either. What?
You got to change your mindset.
Like you said last night, you got to change your mindset.
You have to. And in saying that, if you don't switch the gear from negative to positive in what your thought processes are and how you want to figure out, okay, today I have this bad habit, tomorrow I need to get rid of it. I need to look forward to having money in my pocket or in the bank, my bank, versus, damn, which credit card am I going to use for the next purchase? Because either A, you don't have enough money in the bank, or B, you're just kind of like, well, I'll pay it. I'll pay it when I get paid.
Right.
I mean, and that's kind of the reality that where we're at today, is a lot of people are utilizing and maxing out their credit cards because they don't have enough between pay periods to cover any costs that may or may not come up.
We're going to come back to that. I'm going to take a short break. We're going to come back to that in about 3 minutes. We'll be back.
Hello, my name is Cedric, and along with my beautiful wife, Connie, we'll be hosting my brand new podcast.
Cedric
That's what
D.
I said.
Sanders.
I'm a retired Navy veteran that suffers from PTSD and anxiety, and we'll discuss how I cope with the mental illness through comedy and discussion. It's a podcast that will talk about everything from cryptocurrency to comedy. If we're worrying about the dollar going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's still a dollar, guess what? The value of that means absolutely nothing. Cryptocurrency in itself is the future of money. From spirituality to cannabis. To have cannabis on the Schedule 1 list is bullshit. I'm sorry, it is. It makes absolutely no sense. If it's a seed that can be planted and it has healing properties in it, why the hell is it in Schedule 1? Last time I checked, cocaine don't have healing property in it. From interracial relationships, I don't have a problem with people talking about interracial relationships. People try to talk bad about my interracial relationship just to think that they can get under my skin. I mean, really, it don't bother me. I mean, let's not make, call a spade a spade. But if you have a problem with someone that's in love, it shouldn't matter the race of the person. It's mental illness in our community. The problem is people want to put labels on it. Everybody wants to put color on everything. And as soon as you put color on it, it gets treated differently. The money gets treated funny. Because if it's dealing with Asians, guess what? It's going to take a longer process unless those leaders step up and get into the president's face or U.S. leaders' face and say, this is a problem in our community. Not leaving one topic unturned. If you want to hear real, authentic conversation, interviews, and comedy, please take time to listen to That's What I Said, because I said what I said.
giving you 100% authentic, real, raw, unapologetic truth with no filter. Listen to That's What I Said, available on your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? We back. We back in effect, y'all. We back. So,
That's What He Said with Cedric D. Sanders.
back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so back to what I was saying before we took the break is that, you really truly have to change the mindset that you have. You cannot continue to utilize these high ass interest credit cards that inevitably are going to put you further in debt if you don't pay them off as you use them. A lot of us get these credit cards and don't pay them off, and you end up with higher interest and having to pay more than what you originally put on the card.
Well,
it's an ugly cycle, and we have to try to break that and help people understand that we need y'all to change the mindset to have your money work for you, not you continuing to work for the money. That's all.
the issue is, yeah, okay, that's a great example as far as the mindset changing with the credit cards and everything. But that's just one thing. I mean, changing your mindset about wealth or money as a whole is more than just credit cards. It's
very true.
It's going back to what I was talking about when we were talking about Kanye West. Mm-hmm. The people you involve yourself with, ultimately are the ones that could pretty much make or break what you do with your money or how successful you are with your money. And people are like, no, that shouldn't change you or whatever, but it will absolutely change you when you're not stressing yourselves out about when you're going to get paid, regardless of how you get your money. I'm not trying to get in your business like that. But the way I see it and the way I look at things, you have to be in a better position to allow yourself to not worry about when you're going to get paid or how much is and things of that nature. Everybody wants to be in that situation.
Yeah.
But we all can't get in that situation when we already mismanage money the way we do.
Right.
A lot of us mismanage money in such a difficult and confusing way that the only person that can answer that question is that person. You can never dissect how people get into the financial situations they get into. And a lot of people will blame other things or certain situations that happen in life, which is very well true. You go through a divorce, there's certain financial responsibilities now you got to take care of, whereas first you probably didn't have to.
Or they were minimal.
Or they were minimal. Now you have to take the blunt force trauma of taking care of, certain things financially. There's a lot of successful women that have went through that with bad relationships, bad boyfriends, blah, 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 that was bad with money, and now are successful all by themselves and will never get into one of those situations again, and probably a lot of them stay single.
Yeah.
That's a totally different conversation. We're not going to have that podcast tonight. But we got to understand this is how money
That
affects
analogy
people.
is correct. Yes.
This is how money affects people. So we have to get into a better understanding of what we feel comforting may actually be the demise of why we're not wealthy. If you spend a lot of time online shopping just for you or just for whatever,
Right.
and never really look at, I need a way to fund what I love to do so I'm not taking it away from my responsibilities that I put myself for. Yeah, I can limit some of this stuff, and that might give me some more money, but I got to find a vehicle that's going to be able to fund what I love to do. You should always want to do something and it not bother your spirit. I remember when I first started doing this podcast, the vision I had didn't agree with my bank account. My bank account was like,
Nah, bro.
Really, nigga? It was like, we're not going there.
Take a step back, sir.
You need to back the fuck up. So this was kind of like my reason to want to understand wealth and to kind of be better with money and realizing that I was just spending money on dumb shit. It was hard for me to stop doing that because it was habit forming.
Yeah, and if you've been doing it for years and years and years.
I literally would get paid and just do dumb shit just for no reason. I do it now, but I have the money to do it. I'm not excessive with it. I could be overly excessive, but for what? I don't get benefit from that. I used to play a lot of computer games. I don't play them no more. And it wasn't because they was expensive. It was because I was paying for shit that I really didn't want to play. I didn't want to sit in front of a computer for 3 hours playing a game. To me, that was dumb as hell. I need something that's going to catch my attention for 30 minutes. That's it. I don't need something that's going to be 2-3 hours. And now I'm locked and loaded and I'm in there and now I'm eating lunch and dinner up here. I can't do that. But when you have or you budget your money so where it's not taken away from other shit, You can do that. But see, the problem is people just don't do that for themselves. They're not aware of the fact that they're doing what they want to do, and it's affecting everything else because they're not paying this and they're paying that. They don't think about, oh, well, shit, I need to stop buying this or spending money on this so that I can pay this. They don't think about it like that because now it's a habit. They have to do it. I was
just going to say, because the habit has
it's overcome the responsibility. When your habit has overcome the responsibility, you have a problem. You have to recognize that your habit is now in control of your responsibilities. You are still responsible, but you're only responsible to make sure there's a roof over your head and there's food on the table. You ain't responsible enough to make sure, oh shit, I got to pay the lights. I forgot. You can't now, nigga, because you done spent $300 on your game. 3 games that came out, and they was $100 a pop, and you done bought all 3 of them. You can't take them back because you bought them digitally. They already downloaded it into your game. What, you going to delete it and think they're going to send your money back? It don't work that way, bro.
No.
So we do a lot of dumb shit.
Yeah.
And it's not purposely driven to hurt us. It's designed in such a fashion to where people don't even realize or accept the fact that, damn, this is a habit.
Right.
And then if you sit back and be like, I got the money to pay this shit, why am I not paying it? Oh, you got to look at your other expenses.
Yeah.
Pull out your damn bank, pull out your bank statement. Oh, shit. I got this subscription. I got this, that.
You ain't balanced that checkbook.
You ain't, it ain't even, nobody has a checkbook now, so they ain't balancing nothing. What they not doing is paying attention to the outside expenses that they have now developed a habit of having when they're not taking a true look at all the money that they have. The only way you could do a true budget is to add up all your income in a month. Not what your paycheck is every week. What is your income monthly? Because people don't realize this. Believe it or not, most of your needs to have is paid monthly. Mortgage, car note, insurance. Monthly. Lights, cable, sewer and water. Monthly. So you can venture to say that someone that makes $80,000-$90,000 a year, or someone that brings home $6,000 a month, which is $72,000 a year. Your budget is centered around what your take home is. If your take home is $6,000 a month, I want y'all to follow me and do this math with me. Your take home is
Is that before taxes or after?
No, this is a flat 6,000. We're gonna make it easy. This is a flat 6,000. This is taxes taken out and everything. Got okay. It. Your take home is 6,000, which equivalates to 72,000 a year. Right? If you have a mortgage,
right,
for a house, say your mortgage for your house is $1,200. No, we make it easy. We say $1,300.
Okay.
You got $1,300, right? What does that leave you with? $4,700.
I was going to say 47.
You got a car note. I'm gonna say your car note $500, and you got what, insurance after that, right?
Yep.
We'll say your insurance is $100. You at $4,100.
You still got your light bill.
Still got your light bill.
Still got your cable.
Still got your cable.
Got your internet.
You got your internet, which is probably in your bundle with your cable. You got cell phone. So on the average,
gas and groceries.
That's groceries. That's different. Gas is different. We're just talking about the house right now. Just the house. And the utilities and everything with the house. Mm-hmm. This day and age, we're gonna say about $800-900, even $1,000.
Yeah. So that's leaving you with what?
$3,100. We go on the cheap side. I go on the cheap side. I won't even do you like that. I go on the cheap side. We say, your water, your power, your gas, or your propane is, we're going to say $700. And everybody can be like, damn, where you live at? So this is going to leave you with 34. Okay. You already took your car insurance. Now you got to do necessities. Food and gas. Because you got to take your ass to work. If your mortgage is $1,300. Everybody's like, my rent is $2,000. We gonna get there. We ain't in that conversation yet. We gonna get there though.
Yeah. So, once you finish your
your mortgage is $1,300. Okay, easy. We just say $1,300, and that's probably you're in a $300,000 home. $350, maybe $250. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is this: $3,400 left, and you still got gas to buy, and you still got food. So you got a wife, 2 kids. With grocery prices these days, $500, $600.
Probably more than that, especially if you have a wife and 2 kids.
It's probably about $800. We're gonna put an easy 8. Easy 8. $2,600 left.
Gas probably run you about $300, $400 a month.
Well, you already got one car payment of $500. You probably got 2 cars. We're gonna say $1,100. I'm gonna recalculate. Recalculating.
I'm weak. We got a question in the street.
What's good?
So the question says, what I don't understand is when you're making good money and you want to get a cheaper apartment, they won't let you get that cheaper apartment because they say you make too much money.
Who said that?
Mr. Daniel Shannon.
Okay, I'm gonna help you out real quick. The only time they do that, is when they regulate their housing. They don't do that when they regulate your housing. When they regulate your housing, meaning government assistance or some type of Section 8, HUD even sometimes.
Yeah.
If you make more than what you're supposed to be making, or even if you're right there in the middle, 9 times out of 10, when you want to get that other apartment that might be better for you, it's out of your tax bracket. The bad thing about that is the reason why it's out of your tax bracket is because it's government controlled.
Yeah.
And when it's government controlled, that means you're society controlled. They know where the Section 8 housing is. They know where they put the HUD housing. Some of the HUD houses are better in better neighborhoods than your Section 8 houses.
Facts.
Okay, now this is the problem. When they control where they put those houses, you have to make a certain amount of money.
True.
Because if you make anything more than that, you can get the fuck up out of there.
Well, not only that, specifically in relation to the HUD houses, if if you make more than the amount or what have you, you actually have to pay the difference.
Well, yeah, that's the same thing with Section 8. If you make more than what you're supposed to, you're going to pay the difference. But his question is that he wanted a smaller place, but they say he makes too much money.
No, a cheaper place.
Well, a cheaper place, but they say you make too much money. The thing is that if you're looking for a cheaper place anywhere outside of the government controlled areas, you shouldn't have a problem.
You may have to travel a little.
No, you won't have to travel. You shouldn't have to travel. The thing is that if you're looking for somewhere cheaper to live, the area you're living in is too expensive. And if it's not, then the cost of living of where you work or whatever income you're getting is not relative to the cost of living and where you live. So at that point, going back to what you were saying, you're going to have to look somewhere else. Yes, you're going to have to look at the areas that have the better or cheaper cost to apartments and housing and make a move there. The only problem with that is, and people need to realize this, when it's cheaper to live somewhere else, the quality of that area is not necessarily
going to be better.
It's not necessarily, I'm not going to say better, and I'm not going to say that it's bad. All I'm going to say is it's limited. When it's cheaper for real estate and to live, that means that a lot of the resources that you would normally get in a normal town is probably not there. And you would have to drive to another city to get those requirements, like a hospital, department stores, grocery stores, home decor, Lowe's, and
right.
those type of things.
You definitely have to travel to go for that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You might have to travel to get to those resources, but that's the reason why it's cheaper. Because that land is not sought out. There's no businesses out there. Really, if there's no farms or anything out there, then it should be hella cheaper. But you have to take that in consideration.
Yeah.
If there's not a lot of commercial, this is the key to somewhere being more expensive than less expensive. If it's next to industrial, it's going to be cheap as shit. Because don't nobody want to live next to an oil factory.
Yeah.
Don't nobody want to live next to a trash dump. They don't want to smell, garbage
Rotten
all that
garbage
time.
all
Yeah, they don't want to smell that. So who buys those property? Commercial real estate's eating that shit up.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna put no residential, but see, no city thrives by putting residential next to industrial anyway.
Right.
Hell, play The Sims. You can figure that out.
So, okay, he said that was when he was working, though. He should have said that previously.
What'd he say?
He said that was when he was working, though, and he should have said that.
No, that's cool. The thing is, like, even when you're working, it's weird because it depends on where you live.
Right.
If you're not making a certain amount of money and you enter into a government assisted program, it doesn't operate like when you're just like, going into an apartment complex and seeing how much their rent is and just going shopping around looking.
Yeah.
It's different. So the amount of money you bring home matters.
Right.
The other thing is that I try to tell people this all the time. Don't settle for what you're getting at a job. If they offer a program for you to get some kind of specialization or whatever, take it.
Absolutely. Any specialized training.
But if you're going to a job that doesn't have specialized training, you need to go somewhere else. You need to go to a job that's actually going to pay you
your worth.
Not just what you're worth, but to get the specialized training.
Yeah.
You have to be able to be in jobs like that. And then some people's like, well, I can't because, my past. Oh, you can still do some shit.
Yep, sure can.
I don't care if you have a felony. I don't care if you've been to jail, if you've just, worked a certain career and you're in your 30s or 40s. No, there's things you can do.
Yep. There is programs out there.
It ain't even the programs. I'm gonna get off the programs, the government programs. I'm gonna get off of that. No.
What I was saying as far as programs, there's other programs as far as training programs that you can go to get that specialized training.
Well, yeah, of course there is.
That's what I meant. I wasn't meaning government programs.
Well, yeah, of course there are, but that's outside the conversation. What I'm trying to say is that people make excuses as to why they can't go to work and like their job and get paid for what they love to do. People settle for shit because they feel like this is all I can get. Because of some decisions I made, I got to do it. Okay, because of some decisions you made, this is what you're limited to? No, you're not.
You're limiting yourself.
You're limiting yourself because you're allowing people to tell you this is all you can do. You have to go out and say, look, this is what I really want to do. I got to see if I can do it. And then if you find out you can't do it, find out the limitations as to why you can't do it. Or maybe it was within the qualifications you can't do it. And see if there's something that you can actually strive to go in that direction to do. And it may not necessarily be what you wanted to do, but it mirrors or directly connects to that to where you may be put in a position to where you can do that. It's not going to hurt you.
Right.
What hurts you is doubting you can do something.
And maybe it's time to look at doing a career change.
People get to this day and age where they get stubborn and have for so many years, for lack of better words, just stay stagnant in something when they really like their job. And they just stay stagnant because
it might be the people that work there.
No, it's not about the people that work there. They stay stagnant because they like what they do. That's how you get people that work at the library, barely get paid any fucking thing, and is there for 20, 30 years. They don't look for anything else. It's close to home. They're like, the drive from their house to the job is literally like 3 blocks.
Yeah.
It's a quality of life thing. When I was growing up in the the early 80s, going into the early 90s of the 1900s, you saw teachers, the single ones that had a house, car, maybe have a kid or two or whatever. That was it. Always dressed nice, all this other stuff. So it's like, you single and you got 2 kids. How you dressing like this?
On a teacher's salary.
On a teacher's salary. Yeah, when everybody knew that it was hard for teachers to do anything because they weren't paying them.
Ain't shit.
And today, it's the same shit. Right. So now teachers are getting the more complimentary type salary because it almost mirrors the cost of living, but it still ain't shit.
Right.
Because of inflation.
What'd you say yesterday? They're considered
they're considered lower middle class.
Lower middle class, yeah.
And I'm sorry, I don't think anything of education, especially when you have to go to college to have a bachelor's degree to be a teacher.
Right.
I just think that the way society pays our people is trash. I think it's there's nothing more complimentary to a job knowing that you affect people and give them the education that's going to build them into their future.
Yeah.
How the hell are you paying them minimum? It's like a conspiracy theory. It's like you automatically think this is bullcrap.
Yeah.
Because now you basically are telling me that I educate kids for a whole school year for years, and I love doing my job. You're going to pay me next to lower middle class, and I'm supposed to be excited and happy about that? It's like that's the most selfish crap that I have ever experienced in my life. And then what's so sad about it is the school board approves the shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they weren't teachers.
Right.
Now you in the high 5-figure, almost 6-figure income earners, and you're not fighting for these teachers that's in these grade schools, that's got these urban kids in here that's sitting there cussing each other out and stabbing each other every other weekend. Y'all can't pay these damn teachers. Oh, I know why you can't pay the teachers, because you can't even pay police officers to come to your school.
Yeah, they got rid of all the resource officers.
No, you can't pay a police officer to come to your school. Not even a resource officer. And that's not all schools that don't have resource officers. Right. That might be just in your state or the state that you went to school at. I know they still have some schools that have resource officers, but resource officers is really only helping the kids that make good grades. That's it. Maybe the kids that's right there on the border with C's and B's.
No, they call security now resource officers at the schools.
That's wherever you got that. That's not everywhere.
Gotcha.
Not every school has that. Just in certain states. But how the fuck is a security officer a damn resource officer anyway? That don't even make no fucking sense. You're supposed to secure the school, but now you're trying to tell them what school they can go to. If you don't shut the fuck up, secure the building, sir. You don't need to be telling my kid he need to go to to join the military. He likes to draw. I want him to go to art school. You talking about he needs to go say yes, sir. Fuck, if you don't shut the fuck up and go lock the damn doors. Somebody in the bathroom fighting. Don't you need to go down there on your walkie-talkie? Fred, get your ass down the hall. You and Shaquiqua. I know she down there. She don't play. Your ass. Captain Counselor, man. If you don't get your police officer ass down the hall with your flashlight and notepad. I'm done. With these damn penny loafers and a damn Jerry curl. Talking about how your mama doing. Yeah. Tell your mama Willie Earl said, hey. Dirty motherfuckers. Oh, man. But wealth is a very, I think wealth has something to do with the fact that people understand it when they're successful, when they do what society wants them to do. Go to school, graduate, go to college, get a degree, get a great job, have the big house, you know.
White picket fence.
Yeah, you know.
Kids in the yard.
Kids in the yard, you know, in the neighborhood next to the damn lake and the park. And they build these dreams up. And then you go home to reality. Mm-hmm. Damn, lights cut off again? Man. Hey, I'll be back in a couple hours. It wasn't nothing foreign for me to be able to just, after come home from school and I do my homework, I go outside and I went to high school, mind you. I should be home before the grade school kids. Grade school kids are already on the block playing kickball. Y'all didn't go to school today? Nah. Why not? Our power out, so we didn't have no alarm clock. Bruh, all you had to do is let me know. I'd have knocked on your door when I walked down the street from the bus. It's all good, man. It's all good. This is shit. This is what I grew up with. And guess what? I still at 48 years old deal with this shit now with people on Facebook. It's like you dealt with this growing up and now you continue to deal with this as an adult? Why? Why put yourself through that? And stop blaming the fact of a relationship. Because this is what I'm getting tired of. People have these messed up relationships. And now they, find it hard to find a job and stuff like that because, the man brought the money in and then he would end up being an asshole. So, they had to go their separate ways. But she never had to work. Or she did have to work, but it was pretty much just odd and end fast food or whatever. And it's part-time, not full-time, because why? Because it's like even when you don't have kids, you should be responsible for you. And then when you do have kids, you got to be responsible for them and you.
And they come first.
And they should absolutely come first. So it's like, what is your motivation? Your motivation should be, I want them to not have to worry about nothing like I did growing up. That's my mentality. But
yeah, and it's hard to get everybody on that same mentality because not everybody's going to be on that same mentality. And like I had mentioned earlier, you have to really take a step back. You have to look at everything. You gotta switch those gears.
That's your opinion. Say that.
Yes, my opinion. You got to switch the gears, change the mindset, because like you said yesterday in the podcast, you said, how long does it take to create a habit? 21 days. How long does it take to change that habit?
It's usually about the same amount of time, 21 days. It's like you can create a habit overnight. Let's be real.
True.
You can create a habit overnight, but to get rid of that habit effectively, it takes about 21 days. The other thing that I think, and this is just like I said, my opinion, always going to be my opinion, but it's the way I say it is always going to be real. The fact is, and I think the way that it needs to be talked is just like this. We have to understand and stop trying to figure out the conspiracy and the lie and everything and make excuses or attach those excuses to those conspiracy or lies that's being told to us as the reason why you don't have whatever. You don't have money, you don't have a job, or you're struggling or whatever. Stop attaching those stereotypes and all of those biases that they like to put on black people or people of lower middle class, incomes or whatever. Stop living the fallacies that they want to put you in, because now you're allowing them to label you as a broke ass person. When really you are only following behind or living around the same shit that you used to growing up around.
Right.
So it's like, it's not about someone telling you could do better. You don't want to because you like where you at right now. But don't get in the position to start blaming people when you say you liked where you were at. You can't be comfortable and not having shit and feeling like I'll just take it from somebody because that's just what it is. Oh, so you're just going to take for what you got instead of being responsible and taking care of what you already got. So you're going to take from somebody else that's taking care of what they got because you ain't taking care of what you got. Or is it just because you're an asshole and you just be like, well, fuck, I just rob him just because I can. And then you want to glorify jail like, fuck it, ain't nobody doing nothing for me out here, so I might as well just get. It's like that's the mentality, because people give up. They go to jail and all of a sudden become, these philosophical preachers and thinkers and shit now. And be mighty successful because it takes time for them to sit their ass down and change.
Right.
But maybe you just need to do that before you get put in a position where they have to control you to sit your ass down, where you can control yourself to sit your ass down and correct it. But I'm going to get off my damn soapbox and stop talking about that shit. Because the reality is that in order for us to fix wealth, we have to fix us.
True.
We have to stop blaming what we don't know on what somebody didn't teach us. We all know the school system didn't teach us about money. We know that. Stop using that narrative. We already know that. This is 2022. I hear this shit every time I'm in a network media, network marketing or anything else like that. They sit there and tell you that the schools didn't teach us. We know that. We need to graduate from that and speak the obvious. People are lazy. As a good business model, it's easier to say that the schools didn't teach us. I'm not the school.
That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
I'm not the school. I'm not gonna not teach you what you need to know. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna not do that. What I am going to do is sit there and be like, you know what? They might not have taught you this in school, but you know the difference between right and wrong.
You should.
And you choose the shortcut shit because you lazy. If people have to rob you to pay a bill or come to some kind of conclusion to finesse you out of money, they lazy. A lot of people say, oh, that's talent. If they can finesse you out of money, for you, that shit should be exhausting every month. You living beyond your means and you got to ask another nigga to pay your bills. That should be exhausting after a while. You should be considered a hoe. Because you providing a service, bullshit service. You allowing people to listen to your bullshit. You should get paid for it. Absolutely, that's a job. No, that's bullshit. That's exactly what it is. And we allow people to do it to us because they don't know no better. They really don't. But we have to effectively realize that there's people like this in our lives, and it's not because it's their fault. It's because they bullshitting themselves. But see, that's a conversation they ain't trying to hear right now. Because they want to play victim. Man, they doing this to me. Who? Who's they? I remember growing up. And you would hear this shit from other people's moms and dads. They out there cussing. Who the fuck is they? That used to ring in my head so much growing up.
Wow.
Who the fuck is they? And at my age, that's exactly what I want to say to these grown ass people. They ain't trying to help me. Who the fuck is they? Is they a group you created? Old adults on the block? Old adults in the damn nursing home? What? I'm just saying. Some people are just out there. It's like I'm going to create and mismanage and create because I want to fit in. I want to do all these things to fit in. I want to whatever. Yet not be responsible for it. It's like I'm going to just create this and just not be responsible for it. Or bad shit happens, don't get me wrong. Bad shit happens. And now, you lose this and that because of whatever.
Circumstances change.
But are we changing the narrative or trying to build a case? We got to change the narrative and stop building cases on shit that we're not going to win. We ain't going to win court cases because you can't win arguments. We allow ourselves to sit here and get beat up and defeated by our own issues that we're not willing to even just learn from them so we can graduate to the next step and be better. We're just going to play victim and stay in that position. That's why a lot of us are not wealthy. We're too busy playing victim to what we haven't been taught. That's why I don't like the narrative that people use as the schools didn't teach us. You're right. The school didn't teach you how to be wealthy, but that doesn't mean you got to sit in that shit.
Yeah.
Some people get turned off by the fact that you tell them the truth. And that's the reason why people don't want to change. They are turned off by the fact that you're sitting down trying to have this conversation with them and everything that you're telling them is just part of your business model. What they don't like about it is that it's a true statement to every reason why they broke.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I want to change. No, you need counseling first. Because this right here is just going to be a common conversation to have with your people, your broke ass friends. That's going to be either one, jealous of you, or two, not like you because of the fact you trying to buy a business and move. And then other people will be happy for you. It's like, damn, that's good for you. Woo, woo, woo. Deep down inside, this bitch thinks she better than me. I think the other problem too, since we're talking about it, people are just funny like that though. They look for you to fail because they have. And they won't support you in nothing you do. Yet, it's okay for them to say that supporting you is just not my thing. And they don't necessarily, I guess they don't necessarily say it. It's more of just their actions. And it goes back to like what I was saying last night. You don't need support to be wealthy. The only person you need to support is you. I got like nearly 1,000 friends on Facebook. I get a lot of likes and dislikes and comments and things of that nature. Maybe because I cuss too damn much.
Yeah.
But that's not going to stop my wealth. That's not going to stop my wealth.
Yeah. You're right.
It can't stop your growth because you may have people that consider you friends, but they don't support your endeavors and what you're doing. And even when you're successful, you become more successful. Yeah, those 1,000 turn into 5 real quick.
Yeah. You're right.
And those same 1,000 that weren't fucking with you, they with you now. All of a sudden, you their best friend. Man, I ain't seen that nigga. I ain't seen him in forever. Mm-hmm. But you've been my Facebook friend since 2010.
Yeah.
So it's like we have to stop worrying so much and getting emotional about the support that we don't have. If you don't have a lot of friends on Facebook, that means you need to get out more. And that don't mean that you need to get out and just start meeting crazy people that'll socially, put you in their house and try to cook you and shit like Dahmer did. But no, what I'm trying to say is that you have to be in a better position in life. What?
You said like Dahmer.
What? I wasn't supposed to say that?
The analogy, sir.
Oh, I thought I said something wrong that's going to get me fired. Oh, that's right.
Ain't nobody going to
They can't fire me. I pay for my own platform. Anyway. I'm all right. Anyway. I just feel we have to be aware of everybody that's around us and how they may or may not do certain things or blame or whatever. We have to be acknowledgeable of the fact that we're going to deal with different walks of life and different kinds of people that may or may not accept the real things that are going on. They may actually listen to your conversation and be receptive to the fact that a lot of their failures come from laziness or comes from the fact that it's not laziness per se, it's a lazy mentality. So let me clarify. When I say lazy, I don't mean person that is lazy where they just sit their ass on the couch and not clean up the house. They just been sitting there all day watching TV. That's not what I'm saying. Lazy mentality, which means you know this information is out there, but your cognitive dissonance kicks in and makes you just sit around and do nothing about it. Your cognitive dissonance means that you know something's bad for you, but you still do it anyway. That's like someone that is allergic to peppermint,
And
but
they eat it all.
but they like peppermint candy, so they cut like a sliver because they know their allergic reaction and what's going to make it blow up. And they know if they take a little sliver of something and chunk it in their mouth because they like it that much, it's not going to really get their allergies kicked in. And that person just wants that little taste of peppermint. That's cognitive dissonance. You know you're allergic to it, but you're going to do it anyway. The same thing with wealth.
Yeah.
You know you shouldn't spend this money because you're trying to better your credit score. You know you shouldn't do this because of whatever. And let me say this too before I get into that. Some people's credit situation is a lot of it has nothing to do. It's not even their fault. Some people are just good with money. They just have bad situations happen to them and they can't correct those situations because they don't have the money to fix them.
Yeah, because it's going to take a lot more money to.
Right. So they have the drive to want to fix it, but because they're not financially in a position to where they can fix it, it sets them back and makes them upset. So,
because in some of those instances, you have to hire a lawyer or whatever to assist to get out of that situation, and
yeah, that's
just
deeper.
Don't have the retainers.
That's
for it.
deeper. That's deeper into it. Yeah, you're right. But you're absolutely right, because if you can't, there's so many factors that go into that, and that's one piece of it. But outside of that, some people need help, never ask for help. But when you start listening to their story, it's like, why ain't you even talking to somebody about this before? I mean, I don't know. I just, can never get the help or, whatever.
I think it's a pride thing for a lot of people.
Well, for men, it is pride.
They don't want to talk about their finances with their friends or anything like that. And I mean, that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it's harder for people to really accept that you can't do something because you need this amount of money, or whatever. And you know how you can get that money, but you can't get hired in the capacity to do it because nobody's hiring or whatever. You've been looking for however long. And even when you find a job, it's still not what you want to get paid, but you take it because you need to make money. It's like, when is it going to change?
yeah.
We have to accept the fact that wealth starts with your own habits. You have to realize and open up and open that door up and say, this is a habit. And put it in your budget. And I'm not saying put it in your budget to support it, but you need to put it in your budget as far as what you're spending now and the reason why you don't have the money you need to have. You need to put that down. Yeah. And you need to put it under habits. Things that are not natural to do. I mean, not natural to do, but things that you wouldn't normally budget out for to take care of your household. Computer gaming. And everybody say that's entertainment. No, that's habits.
Yeah, you can't keep living on
That's not it. I already know what you're about to say. That's not it either. You're bringing up quotes that have absolutely no bearing in this conversation right now.
No, what I'm saying though is
you're not living on the champagne. You can't be on a beer budget and a champagne diet
your whole life. You just can't. If you want to change your circumstances and
that's not what I'm saying.
Wealth, you can't.
Yes, that's I get that, but you're interjecting in something I was saying that had nothing to do with that. That's what I'm saying. You're absolutely right. But having a beer budget on a champagne diet has absolutely nothing to do with someone that has a gaming addiction. Someone that's on a beer budget on a champagne diet means this person lives beyond their means, and they go and live beyond their means by what they wear and who they hang around. You can't go to the club and drop $500 just because this girl does it. That don't mean you have the money to do it, but you do it anyway. And you're in competition with this other girl or this other dude because he always wearing his fly outfits, and you got to fit in to fit those fly outfits and buy the drinks and everything else. When you know for a fact, if you do all that shit, you ain't going to be able to pay your rent. That's living on a beer budget with a champagne diet. Mm-hmm. You ain't got the money to afford to look glamorous like everybody else. You can't do that. That's a society issue. That's a totally different conversation. That's why I didn't bring it up. It's a completely different conversation. Because that's something that people have to change and have to want to change it. I'm not saying you can't go out and have fun, but you can't be on a beer budget and a champagne diet going out to all the little nice spots that everybody goes to, yet you really ain't got the money. You don't have the money to do that.
Right.
You already living beyond your means. You know, you driving a Dodge Challenger and you live in an apartment for $1,200 a month. So it's just, to me, it's just stupid. Because I didn't bring that up because that is a different conversation with money. That is a longer conversation.
Yeah. Because
a lot of people in those situations try to validate why they do what they do. Well, I like to shake my ass. What am I going to do? Sit your ass at home and shake your ass at home. You like doing TikTok videos. I seen you. Shut up. You're looking for attention. And some people, it's like, no, I just like music. Really? You could play that shit in your house.
Yeah.
So who you really out there trying to shake it for? You trying to find a man? Not saying you can't find a good man in a damn nightclub. Not saying you can't find a good woman in a nightclub. But who you trying to impress every time you get paid? You showing up there like it's attendance in school.
I'm here.
Yeah, you gotta have perfect attendance. What? Man, whatever. So make efforts to change your spending habits or your habits itself. Stop blaming people for the things that have prevented you from being successful or having financial growth or wealth or whatever. That don't mean nothing. It's good that you're aware of it, but are you changing? No, you're just complaining about it. Oh, I don't want to hear that shit. That's an excuse. That's an excuse for you to continuously be stuck in the position you in right now because you don't want to get out. You're not creating a business. You're not trying to create some passive income so that you can get out of that situation. You're just sitting there complaining about it. That's just like somebody complaining about having, being in bad relationships. I didn't know he was an asshole. He was so charming. I didn't know she was a cheater. No, you don't get to know him because you just want some ass. You lonely. You just want somebody to have a companionship with. It's like people want to be in relationships so bad, but don't do the work to be in a relationship. because you have to work at being in a relationship. It's like you got to be the best version of yourself for that person, so that person is the same for you. Guess what? You got to have that same relationship with money. And people are like, man, I ain't having no relationship money. Okay, that's why your ass is broke. Because I want to have a relationship with something that I want to grow. You can't have a relationship with something you don't want to see grow. You got to want to be able to say, I want this. I want to be able to have this. I want to be able to have this, but I can't afford it right now. So I got to grow my money. So what ways can I grow my money? Oh, I can, get a couple Airbnbs, or I can have a business. I can have this. It's like you have all that passive income, and then what you do with it?
Nothing.
Some people don't do nothing with it. Some people actually just reinvest it and put it into something bigger, and now they, have a lot more money. Mm-hmm. But you have to get to that position where you can monopolize your money so that you can actually do the things that you want to do without having to rely on taking out loans and credit cards and all this other stuff and creating more debt, to where now it's like, oh man, I got all this debt and I don't even make half of this money. It's like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
So credit, and another thing too, people don't realize too, is credit is a big thing about credit is something that a lot of people don't realize that kind of, I wouldn't say affects wealth, because it really doesn't. It does and it doesn't. It does in a small fashion. Well, it does in a big fashion, but it doesn't in a bigger fashion. Because you could be rich, like hella rich, and it doesn't matter what your credit score is. If you're going to buy something, you're going to buy it. If you're going to invest in something, that's completely different. Because then when you decide to invest in it and you check your credit score and it's like a 7 something, and you were like, got $800-900 million, I'm sure that credit score is not going to be a 700 at the end of that work day.
No. It shouldn't be.
So people don't understand that money will change the factor of your financial livelihood with things real quick. But it's how you get to that point is the question. And
the portfolio.
Exactly.
Financial portfolio.
And the thing is too, is like when you're in a relationship, you should be, you're a team with someone, especially if you have kids with that person. So it's like, you want this person to grow as much as you grow. So whatever and it's just like being in a marriage, you learn something new, you want to teach your wife, and your wife learns something new, she should teach her husband. If it's growth when it comes to the house you live in and everything else, the same thing. It's the same thing. So why people are not doing that is beyond me. But I don't know. I think things can get better as people acknowledge the fact of the things that they're doing or not doing. But it has to be the first conversation. It has to be the first reality check that you do. The second reality check is like, okay, this is where I'm at financially. I need to get to the next level. What does that look like? Be real with yourself. If you're not in a position to do whatever, admit that.
Right.
What you got to do to change it? It's like you always wanted to own a business. Okay, how you going to create that? Can you start off small? Is there a way that you can start off cheaper to build into something bigger, to where then you can buy some more quality stuff that's going to have your vision, or you collaborate with somebody that's going to be like, yo, I'll pay for it. Let's go do it, because that's a good idea. Of course, it got to be somebody you trust. It can't be somebody that, you know they got money. And then you have this conversation with them.
Yeah.
Then they take your idea and get rich off of it, and you just stuck with the same problems you had, because now you're going to fall into a depression or some shit. I just think we have to change like we said, change our mindset, but accept the fact that it's not always as easy as people say it is, because it's really not. But if you work at something, you can change that thing that you work. It'll get better for you. So I don't want to keep y'all no more. It's almost 2 hours into this podcast. The last thing I want to talk about is effectively understanding cash and assets.
Do we need to do a part 3?
No, I'm not doing a part 3. Cash and assets are two things that work well together if you have the mentality to understand both of them. You have to understand how the assets work, and you have to understand how your cash works. Because sometimes your cash don't work well enough to be in an asset. What I mean by that is that we risk a lot of our cash and assets hoping it's going to change our financial situation. And when it doesn't, it's like, I'm not going to keep putting money into it, so I'm just going to keep saving my money. And then a friend of yours that kept putting their money in the asset end up tripling their money, and now you mad at yourself because of doubt. Educate yourself on assets. Educate yourself on the assets that you're interested in, or just educate yourself and learn what assets are out there that can produce, positive, or at least close to positive, active streams of income. Passive. And passive means while you sleep, it makes money.
Yeah. Do
the research on it. Just look it up. There's many avenues. There's a whole bunch of different things out there. It makes you smart. It makes you better at when things happen in the world. Because when you can start putting close correlations to certain actions that happen in the world, you know when to sell. When it comes to stocks and cryptocurrency or whatever, you know when to sell. Put your money in a holding pattern. When everything calms down, you're going to know. Buy it again and keep riding the wave. But people don't want to hear that. People just want to be rich tomorrow.
Yeah.
They don't want to grind. They don't want to learn. You're not going to get rich tomorrow. And even if you do, you'll lose. If you get rich tomorrow, be gone by Tuesday. Because if you don't effectively know how to manage money now, go out there and win the lottery. I guarantee you your ass be broke by Tuesday. Guarantee it.
Yeah, because if you've never had that amount of cash before.
Exactly. How you know to manage it? How do you know what to manage? Exactly. And you can have all these dreams saying, oh, man, I already know what I'm going to do when I get my first $100 million. Yeah, you done blew it already with half the shit you told me.
Right.
Because you just sat there and said you're going to buy a car for every week. You're going to buy this big-ass house. You said you're going to move all your family in there. You don't think about logistics. You got to pay for everybody to get there. You want them to move, which means they got shit. So you paying for moving trucks. Depending on where they at. I mean, you might as well just say 10, 15 grand a person. Now all of a sudden you're a rap artist. You want to build a studio. You say you want to have a car for every day of the week. And you want a big ass house. People don't think about taxes.
Yeah. That big house comes with a lot of taxes.
Car, all them cars, 7 cars, taxes.
Yep.
All that moving, commercial moving, more than likely, because some people going to move everything they got into this house, taxes. Mm-hmm. Oh, what's going to happen next year? Taxes.
Yeah.
You can pay the house cash. That's cool. Taxes. Every year. Property value. You're going to probably have to buy land if you're talking about having all them niggas come out to your house. So, yeah, you have to pay land taxes, too. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. You got a car. Taxes. Oh, didn't tell you. You know, when you get to a certain tax bracket with your money, there's a what they call the rich tax. It's called a luxury tax. Taxes. So don't get it twisted. That money be gone by Tuesday, and you won't even know. It's gonna take about 3 months. And you're gonna look in that bank account. You're gonna have like
$2.
Nope. You're gonna look in there. You're gonna look on there on Monday morning. It's probably gonna be like 700. You get $1 million. You get $100 million. You're gonna be probably at 70 something million. On Tuesday, that shit gone. You're gonna probably have 2 million and some nickels. And you're gonna be like, where all my money go? Taxes. You said you wanted this, so you paid for it. You wanted this, you paid for it. We moved your money to that account. That was a cost. You said you wanted to wire money to this dude. That was a cost. You didn't budget your money. That's a cost. You reached your daily limit on blah, blah, blah. You insisted on paying it, so you had to pay a fee for that.
Oh, yeah, because the banks will put you on a limit of what you can have.
Oh, well, no, that's
ACH withdrawals and you withdrawing money.
But that's the middle class bank, upper class bank.
Oh,
we're not talking about these other banks that allow you to do more money, but it's your transactions. You're still gonna have a limit. But see, people that have never managed money, they'll just go and start buying shit.
Yeah.
Not invest a damn dime of it. It's like, no, so-and-so lived that. I want to pay for their house. And so-and-so, I got to buy my mom a house. No, right off rip. It's like, things cost. How much it costs, I don't care. Bring the suitcase. I don't care how much it costs.
Yeah, and that's kind of the mentality.
You got to have an accountant.
That's the first thing you should do is purchase an accountant.
But I'm not going to get on my soapbox and do all that because people ain't going to listen anyway. They're going to do what they've been doing, and that's complain, make excuses, complain and make excuses, and blame somebody else for it. We're going to say that for another podcast because everything you bringing up is great. We'll be on here for another hour. I ain't doing that. As much as I love y'all, I'm not going to bore y'all with another hour of interesting stuff that I think everybody needs, but it's late.
Yep.
So with that being said, y'all caught another episode of a live podcast. That's what I said with myself, Cedric D. Sanders, and my wife, Conti Hunter Sanders.
Hello.
We're going to catch y'all next week. You got anything to say to him before we get up out of here?
No, I just want to say thanks for joining us for the second portion of the podcast. Since we hit y'all last night, we hit y'all again tonight. Appreciate the love and support, and keep sharing and keep joining us on Friday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Peace.
So with that being said, y'all, I hope y'all enjoy yourself. Hope y'all enjoy your Friday. Hope y'all enjoy your weekend. Peace and love. I see you down there, Mr. Banks, and everybody else that joined the live podcast, whether it's via Facebook or you listen to it on Spreaker.com. I appreciate the energy and the love as always. I'm going to catch y'all next Friday. Y'all need to stay safe in these streets and bundle up. It's a low front coming in. Y'all better keep it easy. Peace.
That's what he said with Cedric D. Sanders.
100% real, raw, and uncut. Deadass.